but I want to listen to what's going on. So I'm trying to do two things. So I'm going to attempt to put this on mute.
Okay, there's a bottom left that says mute.
Got it.
Okay.
Good morning.
You want us all muted?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.
All right. Hi, Betty.
Hello.
Richard.
I'm actually eating my lunch, so I'm going to
Turn off the picture.
yes. If I can figure out how here.
Okay.
I think.
Hello.
Okay, we'll wait just a little bit longer and see if we have anybody else hooking up.
This is Anita. Can you see me or hear me?
We can do both.
I'd rather you not see me.
Okay. I think.
So Anita, right next to the mute button is a stop video. If you click on that, that will turn off your camera. But you look lovely.
Well, so do you. Thank you. I like your headphones.
All right. I don't see any new people hooking up right now, so I think we'll go ahead and proceed.
Stands on.
Okay, good. Good. We are limited to 30 minutes today for the meeting, so hang in there with us for that. Sometimes it seems like we're kind of pushing things, it's because we have that.
Hi.
Hi, Blanche.
Hi, I didn't know my face was going to be on. I'll be right back.
We will see how this works and evaluate it from then decide how long, if we want to continue doing this. So after the meeting, feel free to send me information regarding your thoughts regarding this process. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
One nation.
under God, indivisible, with
liberty
and justice for all.
Okay. I am so happy to be able to introduce Mayor Michelle de la Isla. If you've had an opportunity over the last at least the last 2 weeks, we have been listening to how Mayor Michelle has been helping to keep us grounded, keep us informed of what's going on, and she really has been that stabilizing force for us. If you've been on Facebook or if you've been on the website. I know we couldn't do it without her, and I know she's incredibly busy, but we're so honored that she was able to give us a few minutes to talk to us about the state of our community as it's related to what's going on with COVID-19 as well as our economy. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mayor.
Well, thank you so much for the ability to speaking to this awesome group of Rotarians. I am right now in the office of Mr. Dusty Nichols, who is our Emergency Management Director, and we are working pretty much 24/7 to make sure that everything in our community is taken care of and safe, and that we are able to have a community to come back to in which everybody can be here and everybody can just have a big celebration for when we have our full recovery and when we can say that we have overcome COVID-19. A little bit of information with regards to where we are at. Right now, I am operating from the Emergency Operating Center here in Shawnee County. We have a team of emergency management personnel. We have the incident commander, who is Linda Oakes. She is a director of the health department. And of course, we have the amazing, amazing resource of Dr. Gianfranco Bezzino, who is the doctor that is in charge of enacting all of these things. And a lot of people are trying to figure out who Dr. Bezzino is and why does he have this power to put the ordinances in place that he has been putting. And I want to make sure that all of you understand that this is by Kansas statute, any county over 100,000 individuals has to have a health officer. And I can tell you that we lucked out with Dr. Bettino to have somebody of his caliber. And not only that, the team of people that we have is just something that many communities, and I can tell you because I'm speaking with a lot of mayors across the nation, wish they had. We are a unicorn. Make no mistake, Shawnee County, we are a unicorn. So a little bit of the state of the city right now. Yesterday, we had our announcement of 3 individuals that have COVID. 2 of those individuals, we stated yesterday that were individuals that traveled outside, which when you were trying to figure out why we shut down the schools, this is exactly why we shut down the schools. Because we knew that we had 30,000 students coming from other cities and maybe other places in the world that were more than likely carrying the virus with them. And we're starting to see that already be a reality. One of the individuals that is sick, we don't know yet the research, because typically when you get COVID or you are in the hospital, one of the first things that we do is we try to do an assessment of the individual to ensure that we know, A, who you've been in contact with, who the primary source of your getting infected was, and then we start reaching out to all of those individuals. So once we have more information on that individual, we will make sure that we communicate that to the community. But this is one of the reasons that it's so important for us to have the safer at home ordinance that we have in place right now in our city and in our county. It's important for us to understand that COVID is extremely, extremely communicable. It's I was reading Harvard medical review, and Harvard was talking about how it could be suspended in the air in spit droplets for 3 to 6 hours, and there's surfaces in which it can remain for anywhere from 24 to maybe 48 hours sometimes, depending on where it's at. So this kind of gives you an idea. There is the whole documentation on it when you start looking at the cases who have been fatalities or casualties. Most of them have been individuals that are immune compromised, and individuals that are seniors are the ones that we're seeing the most casualties from, which is why if you are a senior, if you are an individual that has lupus, that has diabetes, that has a chronic heart condition, that has asthma, we're asking you to stay at home. We are all under trauma. Make no mistake. I have already talked about this with people, and I've been very open about it. The fact that we immediately told you from one day to the other that the world was having a virus and that it was going to get home, it started impacting all of us psychologically. Now we go into stage 2 of this emotional situation in which we're being told that we can't even hug our kids or be around the people that we love, that we can't visit our friends, that we can't provide comfort when somebody is sick. One of my best friends is going to have a grandbaby. They can't even go to the hospital when baby girl is born. So we are all dealing with this emotional toil. And what I want to make sure that all of you understand is that we're doing this to ensure that later on you can actually hug that baby so that we don't have these situations. And we also understand that all of this has an economic impact. So economic impact wise, I'm telling you that I'm working right now with our senators to make sure that we have the approval. The U.S. Conference of Mayors made a request out of the package that they're approving to have $250 billion approved to go directly to municipalities. Their initial draft was going to be one that was going to go to cities over 500,000 individuals. But I spoke with our senators and I asked them to consider the fact that cities that are big cities are already going to have people that are going to want to go to those communities because they're bigger cities. They have a tax base. We don't. So I asked for municipalities of over 100,000 people to be considered to receive some support because we need it for our businesses. I'm working closely with the Chamber of Commerce and working closely with the Department of Labor to understand what is going to be available for the community so that we can have our recovery. If you are a business owner and you are laying off your employees, or if you have been displaced, please go online to the Kansas Department of Labor site and file by spreadsheet, because this immediately allows for you to be able to get access to your benefits as soon as you submit it. So I think that once you submit it and you have the documentation of when you were displaced, you immediately start receiving that. The governor passed an executive order extending the Kansas allotment for unemployment benefits to go from 16 weeks to 26 weeks. So everybody is going to at least be covered. We have been working in Shawnee County super aggressively to make sure that no utilities are being disconnected. Even before the governor announced her statewide packet, we had already reached out a week and a half before to Evergy, to Kansas Gas. We, with our water, did the same thing. And Cox voluntarily, once they saw that we were calling people, Cox also came through for us. So all of your needs are going to be taken care of. If you are immunocompromised, please have somebody go shopping for you. We're starting to see people that are getting across the nation sick from grocery stores because they can't keep up with the wipes and cleaning the carts and cleaning the materials that people are touching. We need all of you. And look at me, I'm telling all of you, each of you matters to me personally. I need you guys all to take care of yourself. So with that, I'm going to shut up and let you guys ask me all the questions you want.
Michelle, am I on now?
Yes, you are. Hi, Grace.
Grace Morrison. I know there are a million questions coming to you and to everyone. And one question that has not been clear and affects our family and activities is golf and tennis. I know some of the golf courses are closed and some, like Topeka Country Club, are not. Tennis indoor facilities probably are closed, but not outside. So I am really searching for some guidelines specifically about that.
Golf is no longer, as of today, allowed. However, the golf courses that are owned by the county are going to be allowed to be walked so that people can walk the trails and enjoy the golf courses. But the game of golf is no longer going to be allowed. That was a decision that was handed down this morning by the counselors in the Shawnee County. With regards to tennis outdoors, as long as you are with a family member, tennis is one of those sports that you are not going to be closer than 6 feet together. So right now there is not a guidance on outside tennis. Now, doubles I wouldn't recommend, because in doubles you have the chance of interacting with each other. This is coming from a tennis mom. But playing singles in tennis, I don't think that's out of the question right now. Great question. Thank you for asking.
Okay, one other thing. Does that mean also that the pro shops are closed? Like golf pro shops?
That's not essential. That's not essential.
Agreed. Well, I guess my husband is currently playing his last round of golf then.
He is.
Yeah.
He is, because I think that today is the last day that they're going to be able to play.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Michelle, we hear a lot about that there are not adequate tests.
PPE and tests. Mm-hmm.
And the ventilators. What is the status for our community?
So I had a conversation yesterday with Dr. Anderson. We are going to have in Saints, KU Med, we're going to have 50 beds with negative pressure that are going to be allowed for individuals that have COVID to use. And then in addition to that, they have 27 ventilators. Stormont hasn't given me a clear number. I think that they're working on 16 beds that are negative pressure, and I don't have a number of ventilators. I don't think that they probably have as many as KU. Remember, KU now is a part of the Kansas health system, so they probably have access to like bulk numbers. I'll figure out how many Stormont has, and we will make sure that we will share that with the community. What is important for all of you to know is these few things. The reason that we were so aggressive with our Safer at Home ordinance is the fact that we already knew that more than likely we were not going to be exempt. Now, don't get me wrong, our team is awesome, but we know that we're not that good, that we could just, completely prevent the virus from the community. So we knew that because of the lack of testing, what's happening is if you were to say, hi, my name is John Doe, and I'm having symptoms of COVID and was in contact with an individual, either because I traveled out of state or whatever reason, we would tell you, not we, but the doctors would tell you, because of the lack of testing, would say, we need you to isolate yourself and go home until you have symptoms. And if you start developing symptoms, please call us so that we can figure out a way of getting you into the hospital without impacting other individuals. So then once you are in the hospital, they're more than likely going to start treating you for COVID. And then once we have more testing, then we'll be able to do testing. The state of Kansas received only 500 tests last Saturday. And they had already said publicly that they were going to run out. And it's not because of lack of competence of our governor. It's just that nationally, this is a crisis. It's not just the crisis of the testing. The even bigger crisis that we have is the PPE, which is the personal protective equipment. And once we start having more of these cases, we're going to start going through this, because these are things that you could only use once. You have contact once, you have to dispose, clean up again, and then reuse. So this is what we're dealing with. And I want you guys to know, many people don't know this, and it's that our hospitals are regional hospitals. So all of the rural communities that don't have these hospitals with negative pressure, that don't have the capacity to deal with the viral aspect of this, are going to end up coming to Topeka. So we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can, not only to protect ourselves, but also when we're protecting ourselves, we're protecting our medical personnel, and we're protecting all of the people that are there saving lives.
Other questions?
Sorry to be Debbie Downer.
I don't know. Does anybody else have another question? I just have a comment. If nobody has a question.
I'm sure somebody has a question.
Is there a question out there? My daughter is an ICU nurse. Oh, wait. Vince, go ahead. My daughter is an ICU.
Jay,
Yes.
you had a question?
Yes. I'm just wondering. I have a elementary school age daughter, and we're wondering if playground equipment is off limits.
It is.
Okay, that's what I figured. But
It is. Playgrounds and play equipment, we don't have the capacity right now to sanitize those. So the last thing that we want for you guys is to go out to have fun and then all of a sudden have somebody touch something that somebody else has touched and has been infected, and then bring it home and then impact not only yourself, but your parents and grandparents. So what we are recommending is, hey, ride your bike with your kids. Go out on walks with your kids. Now the golf courses are going to be open for you to walk. Take your kids on a walk to the golf course. Use our trails. We have amazing trails. There's things that we can do that are healthy that we could do with our family unit that we can't do in community. But there's a lot of things that we can do to stay safe. And I'm sorry that the answer was no to the playgrounds, because I know that one is, that would be an easy thing to do with our kids.
thank you.
Michelle, what can we as a club, a Rotary Club, who has a lot of generous, high energy, committed Topekans do to help and support you?
I think that the number one thing that you could do is, if you are immune compromised, the best thing that you could do is stay home. Follow the ordinance as the ordinance has been applied. And that will be of tremendous help, because if you're doing that, you're helping our hospitals, you're helping our community. However, I can tell you that I have a list of areas of critical need that I have been working very hard on. One of them is making sure that our babies that are 70% free or reduced lunch at schools are receiving the food that they need. And Topeka 501 has been amazing by making sure that they can continue providing creatively food for our babies. But you know what? They're going to run out of money for doing that. And if we could give money to the Topeka Public School Foundation, that would be phenomenal. Another crazy thing that I'm working on, and just if you guys are people who pray, please pray with me. The rescue mission is a population that is of extreme concern to me, and I'll explain why. Each hospital has probably 100 beds additional to what they currently use for either appendectomies, births, strokes, heart attacks, things that will still happen in a time of COVID, right? But here's the reality. The rescue mission, so we have 100 beds per hospital. That gives us 200 beds. The rescue mission has a population of 240 guests. Most of those guests are immune compromised. And if I don't figure out a way of getting my rescue mission separated and getting the people that are living there a place to have their own space that is humane and clean, what's going to end up happening is that we may potentially see mass casualties in the rescue mission. And not only that, but the occupation of all of the beds that we have available in our hospitals, leaving no space for anybody else to get any support. And that is a terrifying thought. And I live with that every single day. So currently I am working with the owners of a local hotel that may be willing to give me the hotel for the period of the coronavirus crisis. The only thing that they're asking is that if they're going to do that, that we take over the taxes for them. I have worked with the city and the county to see if we could abate it, but legally by statute, we cannot abate that. However, we could figure out how to contribute and support the tax base there. The utilities are $15,000 a month and the taxes are $11,000 a month. So we're looking at pretty significant amounts. But if I can find a way, if I can find either a big organization that can help us with that, maybe not you guys, but you guys know people that may have, access to an organization that has that type of resources, even if it's a month at a time, that would be extremely helpful because it would help us protect a very vulnerable group of our community. Speaking of vulnerable groups in our community, our elderly that are not able to move are a big concern to me. So I'm working with Meals on Wheels. I don't know if you guys have seen, I was publishing that we need volunteers, and I will keep on pushing that they need volunteers as long as they tell me that they don't. And it's a simple way to make sure that our elderly that are at home are able to be taken care of. Another thing of concern is the mental health community. I said from the beginning, we are in trauma. So we're starting to create a warm line working with Vallejo and Family Service in which people are going to be able to call to say, hey, I'm willing to call somebody and just check in on them. And people are going to be able to call that hotline and say, hey, I want to help. I need help and I want to talk to somebody, and we'll pair people up. So mental health is extremely important at this time. The other thing that is important is that our babies are also starting to have classes. The city of Topeka and Shawnee County have a significant digital divide. And with that digital divide, I can tell you that there's 8,000 kids that are receiving free and reduced lunch at Topeka 501. Dr. Anderson, in her creative mind, decided to work with buses and put a router in a bus and drop that bus in the middle of a neighborhood. We still need 3 more routers and 3 buses that we could drop in different neighborhoods. That way our kiddos could have free Wi-Fi and then get to do their homework and get their classes. Because as you all know, disproportionately, it's the kids that need the most support with the education, the ones that are not having access to all of that. So that's just a small group of laundry list of things that I'm, constantly concerned about. There's a lot more. I could keep on going, but I'm just going to shut up and just let you guys ask me more questions.
Well, thank you very, very much for your time and your commitment. We're limited to 30 minutes, so I'm going to kind of move us along.
Jolie, this is Shelley. I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. I'm sorry. Can you give my information to the mayor? I'm the Property Valuation Division attorney, and I work with the Directory of Property Valuation. We might be able to brainstorm some ideas on the property tax situation with that hotel. If she wants to reach out to me, I'd be happy to see if there's any solutions we might be able to come up with that they hadn't thought of.
Okay, will do. Michelle, I don't know if you knew this, but John Franco is a member of our club. And so we are very, very grateful that he's not only a member of our club, but I believe that with your and his leadership, that has made a huge difference in our community, and that we're taking a positive approach rather than a reactive approach.
Yes.
So thank you very, very much. I'm going to move us along. We only have 3 minutes. And normally I can just go on, but I think they'll just cut me off with this. So we'll proceed with that. Rather than talking a lot at the end of this, I'm just going to say again to each one of you that, we have unlimited minutes. I just got a notice of that. That's great. Thank you. I'm seeing, as I think all of you are, just 35 people that are participating in this meeting today. This was an experiment by the board. Joan Wagner had encouraged us to try the Zoom, and she says she's going to Zoom with us, so that's good. But thank you, all of you. As we work to try and continue for our club to keep connections, to make a difference, to do things, your positivism and willingness to say yes keeps all of us going. And I want to share that energy with you, Michelle, and our community. There are a lot of us out there that are wanting to say yes, to do little things, and those little things make a huge difference. And so we can keep this up. Please email me if you want to continue this, how often you would like to have a Zoom meeting, if you'd like it weekly, bi-weekly. The past presidents are going to be checking up on members that we have not recently heard from and following up to see what their needs are. They've been very generous with their time for that. I encourage you to go to the United Way's website if you wish to do volunteerism. If you want to help deliver meals, should they just call Meals on Wheels?
Yes.
Yeah, and do that. Because these are little things that make a big difference. And we make a difference. And I'm very, very grateful and humbled to each one of you for your commitment to Rotary. So unless Marie has something else, we can end with the 4-way test. Now turn off your mutes. I want to hear all of you at the same time. Okay. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Friendships, beneficial to all concerned.
Will it be fun?
Good job.
Hooray! Thank you all. And thank you, Michelle.
Good to see you all.
Bless
Good
you
job,
all.
Joe.
Praying for all of you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michelle.
Mayor.
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.